Okay. Happy Friday, everybody. Just want to give you a little bit of an update on the real estate market in the villages. Also want to talk to you about some things I've seen, some comments I've seen or heard about the famous documentary that was done on the villages. So if you haven't done a tour of the villages or you've seen anything about the what's going on in the villages, it's definitely a comedy. It's not. There's probably two or three things that are true inside that documentary. It's really. I'm going to tell you this: if you haven't been here, it's not your granddaddy's retirement area. It's definitely much better and not as crazy. And I don't think there's anybody living in a van. There might be, but not inside the villages for sure. So definitely, you need to come see it for yourself and get taste as to what it's all about here for sure. I think certainly it's not for everybody. I think it's one of those videos I'll probably do soon that really isn't for everybody. If you don't like, if you're not very social, I've seen people that are not super social. Even if you don't like golf, it's still there's like a couple thousand things, activities, and clubs that you could be a part of that are not related to golf here in the villages. And it's not just mahjong and bingo and shuffleboard. It's much, much, much more than that for sure. They do have it figured out. And I will tell you this, that, for the people that are thinking about retiring in the next, 2 to 3 years, and your budget's anywhere between 1.5 to even 200,000, I think this is a place that you need to at least look at and give it a shot for sure. So, definitely something to look at. Talking about statistics, I've been doing this for the last 12 months, just looking at what's going on in the villages, specifically in the marketplace. And of course, COVID had a big impact on our real estate market, had an impact on the seasonal rental side, and we're seeing much more of a pickup on people that are wanting to rent in 2022. So if you are interested, definitely call our office at 352-753 7500, 352-753-7500 if you are interested in a rental for next year, short term, or even later on this year if you just want to stay in a place and get a feel and get a lay of the land, so to speak, and figure out what you'd like to buy just ask for our rental department there. Looking at the numbers, new listings on the marketplace last 7 days, 35 new listings last 7 days, and 48 under contract for the last 7 days. That's a difference of 13. Definitely a big difference. So we've seen in the last 10 days, we've seen a little bit of a drop off as far as how many homes are coming on the marketplace, but more specifically, how many homes are now going under contract, which and last time I did this about 7 days ago, I was actually hoping, even though some people in my office are like, "Shh, don't say that. Don't say that you want to slow down in marketplace." We have seen a little bit of that, and I think that might be a good thing because we have seen over a 50% drop in inventory. We're in, about 187 properties in the non-historic section across from 441 here in the villages. So I think it's been a really big. I think it's been a big movement. We'll see what happens next couple of weeks, if it's just a 1 week trend or if it's a continuation as we head into the early summer period here in the villages. Normally, just to let you know, we're not as seasonal as we used to be as far as buying and selling and number of closings, because typically our biggest months for closings are typically either June or July. So that's not usually a big deal. We do see a little bit of less traffic at open houses because the seasonal rental folks, people who have been here January, February, March, typically have gone up north, so they're not looking as much and they're not flaying the houses, as far as open houses go. And we are having open houses. We're trying to do that as safely as possible. For some of you up north, I know it's kind of a different world, a different planet when you come here because it's a little bit more laid back as far as COVID precautions and that type of thing. Unfortunately, most of the people here, because they've gotten the vaccines and that type of thing, so a little bit better. And as the weather warms up, I think things are starting to improve as well. But the real estate market has been absolutely on fire the first three and a half months of this year. We've seen a little bit of a slowdown on under contracts, as I've said, significant actually on under contracts. So, but I think that's a good thing because that's going to be a little bit of a leveling off in the marketplace. And as we go along, I'll let you know what's happening. If we're seeing less inventory, more inventory, but still we did see a drop in inventory, even in a slower market. Also, I want to remind you of some things I mentioned. Actually, I think it was in yesterday's program where I was talking about if you're buying in our community, certainly watch out for pay attention to the inspections, pay attention to the seller's property disclosures. Look at what's being said in MLS, but specifically what the seller is saying about their own home in a seller's property disclosure. So if you're thinking about buying, take a look at that. Make sure that if there is one, to really look at that particular disclosure to see what the seller is actually saying about their property. So any questions? If you want to search, you see it on the screen, buysellthevillages.com. If you're interested in knowing more about us, or if you're interested in shopping in our area, that's the website to go to. Anything in the Villages and the surrounding areas, whether it's Bellevue, Ocala, Leesburg, Wildwood, and the surrounding areas in Florida. You can search a lot of places, actually much further down into Orlando and Tampa as well, actually, on this website. And also, if you have questions, you can text or call me at 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796. Be happy to refer you to one of our great realtors, great agents here. And if you have questions about that or questions about the market, just give me a call. All right. Happy Friday. Take care, everybody.